Hey mathematicians, it's Justin again. Mia and I are checking out another piece in the Miaville Art Museum's Mathematical Masterpieces exhibit. This one is by Kazimir Malevich, and it's made entirely of bold shapes and colors. Pause here to investigate. What kinds of shapes do you notice? I'm noticing that there are a lot of four-sided shapes, or quadrilaterals, in this painting, but they aren't all the same. By the end of today's lesson, you'll be able to classify quadrilaterals based on their sides and angles, and describe the properties of different types of quadrilaterals. You'll be able to use symbols to identify parallel sides, right angles, and equal side lengths. Have your guided notes ready, and let's explore the math behind the masterpiece. Just like we observed in Malevich's painting, not all quadrilaterals are the same. How many different types of quadrilaterals can you make? Pause the video here to draw at least 3 different four-sided shapes. You might have drawn some examples that have parallel sides like this, or maybe you have a quadrilateral with right angles where the sides meet. Different quadrilaterals have different names, depending on the kinds of sides and angles they have. We can use symbols to help us show those properties. Arrow feathers show which sides are parallel. A small square in the corner shows a right angle, and hatch marks show which sides are the same length. A quadrilateral with at least one set of parallel sides is called a trapezoid. Check it out. This trapezoid has only one set of parallel sides, but this one actually has 2 sets of parallel sides. So it is a trapezoid, but it has another name too. A parallelogram is a quadrilateral with 2 sets of parallel sides. When we mark parallel sides with matching arrow feather symbols, one set of parallel sides might have a single feather on each side, and the other set can have 2 feathers each to show that they're a different pair. Which of these quadrilaterals is a trapezoid? This one in the middle, because it has one set of parallel sides. But this one on the right has 2 sets of parallel sides, so it also meets the criteria for a trapezoid. If a trapezoid has 2 sets of parallel sides, what else can we call it? It can also be called a parallelogram, since it fits the definition of both. This one on the left can't be called a trapezoid, though. It doesn't have any parallel sides. What do you notice about this quadrilateral? It has 4 right angles, which are all marked with a small square in each corner. And it also has 2 sets of parallel lines. We call this a rectangle. Some rectangles are wider or taller than others because there isn't a requirement for how long the sides have to be. Can you think of a quadrilateral that is like a rectangle, but has to have all equal side lengths? A square. In order for a quadrilateral to be called a square, it has to have 4 equal sides and 4 right angles. Since all 4 sides have the same number of hatch marks, we know they're equal. A square meets all the rules for a rectangle, so every square is also a rectangle. But not every rectangle is a square, because rectangles don't require that all 4 sides have to be the same length. Check out this quadrilateral. Pause the video and observe the shape carefully. How is it similar to a square? How is it different? Record your thinking in your guided notes. You might have noticed that this shape has 4 equal sides, just like a square. That's something they have in common. But what's different? Even though the sides are equal, we don't see right angle symbols in this shape, so it's not a square. It has acute and obtuse angles instead. This shape is called a rhombus. So squares and rhombuses both have 4 equal sides, but only squares have 4 right angles. That's why every square is a rhombus, but not every rhombus is a square. There's one more special quadrilateral to discover though. What do you notice about this shape? Pause here to record your thinking in your guided notes. two pairs of sides are the same length, but they're right next to each other instead of across from each other. We call those adjacent sides or neighboring sides. A quadrilateral that has two pairs of adjacent or neighboring sides that are equal in length is called a kite. And as always, we use hatch marks to show which sides are equal. Now that we've explored different types of quadrilaterals, let's revisit the quadrilaterals in Malevich's painting. Pause the video here to identify a trapezoid, parallelogram, rectangle, and square in the painting. Label each quadrilateral, use hatch marks to show equal side lengths, feather arrows to show parallel sides, and right angle symbols to show square corners. Record your thinking in your guided notes. You have several possibilities to choose from, but here are the quadrilaterals that I found. Here's a trapezoid. It has just one set of parallel sides. This one is a parallelogram with two sets of parallel sides. This rectangle has 4 right angles and 2 sets of parallel sides. And this is the square. It has 4 equal sides and 4 right angles. Make sure the trapezoid, parallelogram, rectangle, and square you identified fit the criteria for each shape. I've got one final challenge for you. Pause the video to add a rhombus that isn't a square and a kite to the painting in your guided notes. Include hatch marks to note the sides that are equal in length. Since we need a rhombus that is not a square, it should have 4 equal sides, but no right angles. Kind of like this. And the kite should have 2 pairs of neighboring sides that are equal in length. Great job adding your own shapes to the painting. It's amazing how many different quadrilaterals can fit into one work of art. So, what have we learned today, besides the fact that 4-sided shapes make some seriously bold artwork? Well, now you know that quadrilaterals can be classified based on their sides and angles. You also know how to identify the properties of quadrilaterals that define whether they're squares, rectangles, parallelograms, trapezoids, rhombuses, or kites. And you know that different symbols show when sides are equal, parallel, or form right angles. Be sure to complete the practice questions and extension activities that go with this lesson to practice working with quadrilaterals. And remember, mathematicians, in math, as in life, every effort adds to your success. I'll see you next time.
Hey, hey.